Mr. Darby, than what the water authority uses.
Oh yeah, the water authority
Horrible.
one is, yeah, that one's horrible. It sounds terrible all the time. Everybody gets kicked out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, they're using something else. Was it go-to meeting or something? I can't remember, but it's, and one of the board members that I will not name has his microphone turned up on 900.
He does, and it echoes through the whole meeting.
Right. If you don't mute him, you can't hear anybody else. Zoom works well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does, and I think even after we go back to, you know, being able to meet in person, there are many instances where you could continue to use this.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, it really has boosted attendance because it's just so easy to jump on. You don't have to actually drive, walk, or whatever to get to some of the meetings.
I know, it boosts productivity too.
Yeah. I don't want to do it all the time, but.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we found out is, you know, we've never had a formal work policy, but we're now working on one, and we'll have a lot of fewer people in the workplace on a day-to-day basis. So we have learned a lot from this disaster.
Yep.
I would agree. And it was kind of, learning by fire, but a lot of good stuff has come out of it.
Right.
Yep.
Looks like Jay just joined, so I think we have a quorum. Is that right, Virginia? You have a quorum for both participation committee and for the authority.
Yes. Okay. And my clock shows it's time, so we will go ahead, and I'm doing a double duty here as chairing both of these. So I'm going to go ahead and call to order the participation committee of the Western Virginia Regional Industrial Facilities Authority, and we'll start with a roll call. And I believe as we respond to the roll call, we need to identify, I think, whether we're participating remotely and where we are participating from. Correct, Virginia?
Correct. Yes.
Thank you. If you wouldn't mind calling the roll.
I can do that. Bob Cowell.
I am here and am participating remotely from the municipal building in Roanoke City.
James Delifera.
I'm here and remotely participating from City Hall in Salem.
Dan O'Donnell.
I'm remotely spending another day in paradise at 5204 Bernard Drive, the County Administration Center.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And I will also call to order the Board of Directors meeting for the Western Virginia Regional Industrial Facility Authority. And we'll go through the same activity with the roll call, please.
Gary Little. Ken McFadden.
I am here and participating from the Greenfield Education and Training Center.
David Murman. Luke Campbell.
I'm here and I am participating from my house at 2721 Derwent Drive, Roanoke.
Michael Burnett.
I'm here and participating from the Franklin County Government Center in Rocky Mount, Virginia.
Christopher Whitlow. Donald Smith. Dan O'Donnell.
I'm here, same place I was a minute ago.
Jill Loop.
I'm here participating from the Roanoke County Administration Center.
Rebecca Owens.
He's got the day off.
Richard Kaywood.
He's working somewhere else.
Bob Cowell.
I am here and participating remotely at the municipal building here at the City of Roanoke.
Granger McFarland. Brian Townsend. Robert Ledger. James Delifera.
I am here and participating remotely from Salem City Hall.
Melinda Payne.
Patricia Henniger is.
Was that Melinda? I couldn't hear. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. So Benjamin Tripp. Bailey Thompson.
I'm here participating remotely from the municipal building in beautiful downtown Benton.
Pete Peters. Mayor Brad Gross. Sabrina McCarthy. We have a quorum.
Thank you. And if it's okay with everyone, what I think I'll do is I'll work through the participation committee agenda down to item number 5, which is the VDOT project update. Then I'll shift back to the board of directors meeting and do the same so that we can then have the joint presentation. That sounds doable. All right. Then for those members that are on the participation committee, next item on the agenda is action on the May 15th, 2020 participation committee meeting or minutes. And this should be on pages 3 through 6 of your packet. So I will first ask if there are any questions or alterations to those minutes. And if not, we'll entertain a motion for their approval.
Move approval. This is Jay.
Second, this is Dan.
Thank you. And do we need, I can't remember, Virginia, you want to do a roll call with this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll do a roll call on that motion for approval of the minutes.
Bob Cowell,
Yes?
James Telefero,
Yes.
Dan O'Donnell,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the public comment period. And Virginia, do we have anyone that has registered for that?
Nobody had signed up, no.
Thank you. And seeing none on that one, then I will shift back over to the Board of Directors meeting. And item number 3 on the Board of Directors meeting is the approval of the consent agenda items. And there are 2 of those. One being the May 15th board meeting minutes. Again, this is on pages 3 through 12 of the agenda. And also the audit engagement letter from the CPAs noted, and that's on page 13 through 17. So I will entertain first any questions or entertain a motion for the approval, and then any questions that anyone may have. So is there a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So move. This is Dan.
Second. This is Jay.
Thank you. And if there are no questions about any of those items, then if we will call roll for the vote on those on the consent agenda.
Ken McFadden,
Aye.
Michael Burnett,
Aye.
Dan O'Donnell,
Yes.
Bob Cowell,
Yes?
James Telefero,
Yes.
Barry Thompson,
Yes.
Luke Campbell,
Aye.
motion passes.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the public comment period. And Virginia, anyone signed up for this one?
No, sir. No.
Thank you. Then there are no items. Then for both the participation committee and the board of directors, that brings us to item number 5, which is the coordination of grading with the VDOT project. And John and Chris, I believe y'all are going to lead us through this this item.
Right, that's right. I'll start and then I'll hand it over to Chris. Sorry. So we have an opportunity to save a substantial amount of money on our grading project. Grading project is a project to clear 30 acres and grade 20 acres of the 53-acre phase 1 pad that you see on the screen. Again, it's the grading of 20 acres of that. It's estimated at about $1.7 million, I think, as of the last estimate. So the project involves grading into the 81 right-of-way, this area, which to remove a natural berm. This is a sort of natural berm here that limits visibility of the site from Interstate 81. One of the major advantages of the site is the potential for visibility from the interstate as you enter Roanoke. So we wanted the site to be prominent in the gateway of the valley. Our grading project corresponds loosely with VDOT's project to build the 81 auxiliary lane. So through coordination with VDOT, the authority and the auxiliary lane project, the authority can benefit from some efficiencies. I think Chris has an estimate of what that might be, but on a conservative end, but it could even be even higher than that. So we do think there's some cost affiliated with the coordination. Chris, do you want to chime in with kind of where we think, kind of what those items consist of in terms of coordination, what our cost savings might be, and just some of the discussion with Branch, who is VDOT's contractor?
Sure. Yeah, so can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So there's a bit of an overlap between the work that we want to do in the right of way to improve visibility to the site and work that is that VDOT has already contracted with Branch as far as the widening of I-81. And so we've been trying to coordinate the two projects, mainly schedule-wise, to make sure that we can take advantage of that. Right now, the current VDOT project schedule doesn't have this excavation work happening until late 2021. And so we've been working with VDOT and Branch to try to move up their schedule to try to get them in to do this work ahead of our project, which will essentially move the overlapping portion of the excavation to VDOT rather than on our project. So we'll be able to save some costs on earthwork. In discussing that with Branch, there may be a little bit of cost on their side to reschedule the project and go through a little bit of process with VDOT, make sure that they're okay with that change. We're kind of in the middle of that process now, but I think the benefits far exceed the cost from what we're anticipating. I think John's got some numbers as far as what those costs may be.
Some of the discussion indicated it might be as much as 15,000, but we think it's going to be lower than that, right, Chris, to coordinate the timing?
Yeah, the latest that I've heard, I would expect it to be more in the range of under 5,000. But I think the benefits that we anticipate to our budget are, I would estimate that you're going to probably save somewhere in the $50,000 to $100,000 range on the grading project.
So the reason I brought this to you folks is because there's a potential this could be beyond the small purchase policy, and it's not a competitively procured type of situation. So I didn't feel very comfortable moving ahead without your authorization, in terms of paying for a kind of rescheduling of work. So that's one thing I wanted to bring to you. The other thing is we've been slightly delayed in terms of advertising this project due to some of these coordination issues. So up to this point, we've brought the intent to award board action after receiving bids. But I would propose discussing the bid results with the three participating governments, making sure there's comfort level in moving ahead, and then bring a contract likely in August for the participation committee and board action instead of starting with the intent to award. So I kind of wanted to on those two issues with all of you before proceeding.
So John, the bid items that you would be bringing forward is for the remainder of the grading, not the part that's coordinated, or what would be, how would the two projects actually interact with one another?
It's really all one project. The coordination, that the paying for the scheduling of the work would be something that is really just a separate expense item. We're not necessarily contracted with Branch. We don't have a contractor selected, but that would just be something that would get them to make their timing so that we think the net savings are at a minimum 35,000, but could be more, could be more substantial.
So are there questions of the either the participation committee members or the board of directors about what has been presented, and any thoughts about full actions as we go forward related to this? I guess the only other question I have, John, is you kind of alluded to the sort of our procurement process. And this may be a question for Sam, but I presume that the path that you've kind of identified laying out going forward is still consistent with what we would, with our procurement process. It just exceeds that small dollar amount that you would otherwise take care of administratively. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Sam, do you have anything? Any comments? Sam, you're muted.
Sorry to not be available. No, I think that's perfectly all right. Remember, we did have a few meetings ago an opportunity to exceed a contract fixed price by a substantial amount, and the board chose not to do that. But this is well within minimum range, then we should be fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So if there are no other questions, so then John, it sounds like everybody's comfortable with that. So it sounds that the next step that we're likely to see are you meeting with us either individually and then as a group regarding the contracts or the bids that we've received. Is that right?
Yeah, my intent is to bring you a contract. Assuming our bid process works out and we get a good competitive price, the next step will be to bring you guys a contract, hopefully in August.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Any other items or any other questions on this item? Sorry.
Sam, do we need any kind of motion or anything, or can we just proceed based on the discussion?
I would proceed. I think you're in good shape.
Okay, very good.
All right.
All right. Very good.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Chris, as well. I appreciate it. And, usually with the group you're talking to, when you say if we spend about $5,000, we can save maybe as much as $50,000, we probably don't need any more discussion at that point. But
right. Right.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate that. So
yeah.
Thank you. That then will move us to the next item on both of the agendas, which are project updates. And so, John, if you would take that as well.
Very good. So a quick update item of good news. Yesterday, the refunding of the bond closed. So I just want to make sure you're all aware of that. So that's the first point of good news and first update I wanted to share. So everyone will enjoy, governments will enjoy those savings and moving ahead. So that was excellent. So thanks for everyone for your help in moving that ahead forward. The contract for the construction of Innovation Drive has been executed. The bonds are in place. The contractor of Bowman Excavating is ready to start work in the next couple weeks, and maybe as early as next week. We're also working on contracts for landscaping and signage to correspond with the completion of the road construction. So within before the end of the calendar year, probably more like before Thanksgiving, we should have a nice entrance road built into the park. We're really enhance the marketability and the curb appeal for any prospect. So that's great news. And in terms of the grading and clearing project we just discussed, I just wanted to share that the Roanoke County permits are in place. We have responded to several comments by VDOT for the grading into the state right-of-way. We're sort of awaiting some approvals, feeling comfort there. I think we're going to be advertising this project probably next week. We have to touch base with VDOT just to make sure we have remaining steps with their comfort level advertised. So Chris, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. So again, the intent is to bring you a contract in August based on, I will bring the bids to the three participating governments out of meeting and then bring you a contract in August. So it is the goal at this point. So appreciate your getting on the call, and I know this is a quick one, but gives me a good comfort level moving ahead. So thank you all very much.
Thanks, John. Any questions for John on any of the updates? I will again echo the appreciation. Thanks for everyone on the bond refunding, because that certainly was a positive movement in this, and also all the work that has gone into getting us ready to begin the actual construction and the grading activities out here. I do think that that's going to help some folks realize that this is real, and that we are indeed progressing in that regard. So appreciate it very much.
And we have, had like a little bit of interest in the property already. It's really not ready. It's really not marketable yet, but John and I are kind of optimistic, when all this stuff is over, that it's going to be a successful project.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, and of course you all knew this before, some years before you even started this project, was, based on just availability, it made sense for this. I do believe that kind of post-COVID, the interests of folks looking to be in proximity to large metro areas, but maybe not in them, actually does position this even perhaps better. So I agree. I think it may be in even a better position than where we thought we were just a few months ago. So.
Yes.
Yep. It's good. It's good to be medium.
Right. That's right.
It's never been better to be Roanoke,
That is right. That is right. All right. Is there any other business from either the participation committee or the board of directors? Not hearing any, then for the participation committee members, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. I think we can do this just by not needing a roll. So all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Turning to the board of directors for the facility authority, I will likewise ask if there is a motion to adjourn the meeting.
To adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. So that was Jay for the second, or Barry, either one. Pick a choice. So thank you all. I appreciate the quick meeting and the updates and the progress that we continue to make. So with that, all of those in favor of adjourning the board, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you all.
everybody. Good to see you.